say something about your background or about
Well,
yourself?
thank you for having me with you. I acknowledge you. You're amazing, and I'm so honored to be part of this with you, and for you reaching out to some of us to connect with you on this. You know, I've been traveling around the world for more than 20 years now in more than 40 different countries, and basically I have one mission in life, and that is to empower other people to fulfill their destiny. And so I've been one of those people where if a door opens, I go through that door. So whether it's been to speak to one person or to speak to the multitudes of people, I just go and try to inspire and motivate people. I've stood on platforms in front of thousands of people, but my sole purpose in life is just to meet the needs of one person. So whether that's through coaching, consulting, or counseling, whatever the need is, that's what I try to do. Sometimes we've had opportunities to be able to consult with nonprofit organizations, with entrepreneurs, small businesses, and different things to help them to kind of level up in their business or in their relationships or in their economics, however that will be. And the one thing I've discovered is honestly, and this is kind of where this ultimate mindset renewal comes from, is I found out that whether it's relationship, whether it's leadership, whether it's business, whether it's just sopreneurship or entrepreneurship, everything begins in the mindset. We are what we think we are. And so so my goal in life really is to help people to discover their identity, and from that flow into their purpose, and hopefully to have a significance or leave an impact on humanity in their area or their platform of influence. And so I've been in ministry, I've been a philanthropist, I've been a counselor, I've been a professor, I've done a lot of different things, and I love the certain certifications I've received and certain awards I've received, but honestly, I'm just a guy. My name is Roddie, and I just try to connect relationally. I believe that everything is built on relationship, and so if I can connect with people on an emotional and relational level, we can build from there. So I know it's not a lot of specifics about me. I have a doctorate degree, but it's in psychology. It's a PhD in Christian psychology. My background is a Christian biblical worldview, but the truth is I love diversity and culture. And so I created a company called Vertical Consulting that just tries to take people from where they are in life to where they hope to go. And so that's just my mission, is to inspire people, to help them to take action for their life. And it all begins with belief. It all believes with how you feel, how you think about yourself.
Yes, that's amazing. You have a lot of experience and through your journey in life. And I'm so curious about mindset. Is there a different situation or discovery where you put your mindset, like for example in relationship, in business? Is there any setting where how you set your mindset?
So I think a lot of it is what you accept. Whatever you accept, you end up attracting and you align with. And so let me just give you a quick story. When I was 8 years old, I was diagnosed with an incurable disease. Doctors came in, told my parents, he's going to die, prepare for his funeral. And when you receive a report like that, which so many people receive a negative report, or they have a tragic experience in their life, it's very easy for us to feel like the victim. And we've all been victimized. And sometimes we take ownership of that, and we just accept that's who I am, that's my future, that's my destiny. But the truth is, whatever you accept, whatever you receive, that's what you end up having. So one of the things that I've always told people, and I still physically, I struggle at times. I'm in my 40s now, and I still struggle physically at times. But I always tell people my purpose is greater than my pain. And so mentally, my exercise is that, if I focus on the pain, the lack of energy, the lack of stamina, the struggles that I might be feeling in the moment, it's very difficult for me to accomplish greater things in my life. But when I focus my mind, my determination, my will, my energy into a purpose or into a project, I become unstoppable. And actually, when I'm able to do that mentally and able to just focus very strong into that area or that project or that thing I'm trying to accomplish, that pain, I don't even think about it. I don't even consider it. So I take these trips that are, all over the world, to whether it might be a week or 2 weeks, and I'm speaking on a daily basis, sometimes 3, 4 times a day, up to 8, 9, 10 hours a day. And physically, it's impossible for me to do that. But mentally, I'm so focused on adding value to people and helping people that I'm so locked into that. Now, when I get home, I have to give myself time to rest and recuperate. But in the moment, the power of mental focus and clarity and being driven towards a goal and a purpose, to me, it's the most amazing force that we have to operate with. It helps us to overcome so many different obstacles.
Yeah. So, okay, so what the ultimate mindset renewal? What do you mean by mindset renewal?
So everything that we do, I believe that transformation, it begins in the mind. It doesn't begin with desire. It doesn't begin in our heart. It doesn't begin in our current situation. It begins in our mind. If we want to change our life, the first thing we have to do is change our mind. And so what happens to a lot of people, they get stuck. Let's say, for instance, somebody grew up in a home and nobody affirmed them. And they were told, hey, you're never going to be good enough. You're never going to amount to anything. I tried that and it failed. So if you try it, you're going to fail. So it creates this belief system of insecurity, inadequacy, failure, all of these things that are an opposition to purpose and destiny. And so what the ultimate mindset renewal is able to do, it helps to give people a new perspective of who they really are. So for instance, one of the things that I personally do every day, I have a meditation. And like so many other people, I have certain insecurities. And so everything that I'm insecure about, I will mentally have this reversal, and I would declare it in a meditation. It might seem silly, but for instance, so I might be feeling weak. So I'll say something to the effect of I'll set my focus and my intention, and I will say something like, I'm weak, yet I am strong, for I've been empowered, right? Or I'll say something like, maybe I don't have enough money, or I'm lacking something. So I'll say something like, oh, I'm poor, yet I'm rich because I have prospered, right? I've been given abundance. Or if I'm feeling something like I'm ugly, or I'm out of shape, or nobody likes me, I will speak something reverse of that. So for instance, I may feel like a failure, but I will say I'm a success. I'm successful. I'm an achiever. I'm an empowerer. All of these things that I might not be feeling in the moment, but allowing myself to mentally perceive and declare those things, it actually gives you a renewed sense of energy and passion and hope. And I typically do that in the mornings to start my day, before I answer my emails, before I answer the text, before I get on social media. I give myself that time to renew my mind, to establish my mindset for the day on positivity, optimistic things. I'm not just simply thinking about, oh, I've got to accomplish all these things. I'm just trying to create a framework in my mind to help me to think and dream creatively. I allow myself time to eliminate my greatest fears that I might be having. And to eliminate your greatest fears, you have to take action. And it's very hard to take action when maybe you've had a failure in the past, or maybe, you're allowing that fear to just take over. The 3 greatest fears that people have in life are death, flying, and public speaking. And, obviously death happens to us all. That's inevitable. But flying and public speaking, the way you get over that fear is by doing it. The more you get on the plane, the less you're afraid of flying. The more you speak publicly, the less fear you're going to have. So if you take action to eliminate that, you're able to do it. But you got to have the right framework. You have to have the right mindset. And so what we do in the Ultimate Mindset Renewal is we just help people take a reverse approach to how they think about themselves, the story that they believe about themselves, because many of us, we believe a false story. And like I heard this story about this guy one time. He was struggling. He was addicted to all kinds of different things, drugs, alcohol. He would go to the bars and he would party. Not that there's necessarily anything wrong with that, but it was such an extreme for him. It became dysfunctional behavior. And so he had a transformation in his life and in his mind. And one day he just made a decision. Enough's enough. These things are detrimental to my goals of what I want to achieve, what I want to succeed in life. And so he made a decision. And actually, ultimately, the ultimate mindset renewal basically comes to that. taking decisions before you take action. You know, I know that one of our virtual mentors, Tony Robbins, he talks about taking massive action being the cure-all. And I agree with that, but you have to take action based on the right mindset. So just taking any action won't do. It has to be an action that agrees with a mindset that says this is possible. This can be done. It will be done. Having confidence in your own ability and uniqueness. So anyway, this man, he makes this decision. He gets his mind right. He says, I'm going to go in a different direction. And so he begins to take different actions for his life. He begins to have self-development. He starts reading books, going to the libraries, getting around good people. And one of the best ways we can begin to change our mind is to begin to collaborate with people that already have a better mindset than we have, or are walking at a higher level than we're walking on. You know, I heard somebody else say proximity is power. So when you or I get in proximity to people who are more intelligent than us, that have an expertise that we don't have, we're able to glean from them, and that's powerful and beautiful. So this man was doing this, but he would walk to these different places that he would go to, meetings, to the library, to coffee shops, and he would always walk by the places he used to visit, the bars, the places where the addicts would hang out. And one day he's walking by, the prostitutes were there and all this stuff. And this lady comes running out of the bar and she's chasing him down. And she's saying, Mister, Mister, and he's ignoring her. And he just keeps walking. He gets a little further and she says, Mister, Mister. And finally she catches up to him and she grabs him on the shoulder, and he turns around and she says, it's me, don't you remember? And he goes, I know that's you, but that's no longer me. And so what had happened so powerfully was he made a committed decision that radically altered his life. He changed his mind and said, I'm no longer that person. And so if I'm no longer going to be that person, I can no longer do what that person used to do. And so he was saying to her, hey, that's who you are. I understand that's okay for you, but I can't live in that state anymore. I've changed my state. I've changed my decisions. I'm going after my destiny and my purpose. And so a lot of people, we hope that things will get better. We hope that somebody's going to do something nice for us. Somebody will open a door for us. Somebody will create an opportunity. And it's like I heard one actor one time said, hope is a beggar. You know, hope is great, but having confidence is something more, is better. Having faith is something better. And, you know, fear and faith, they operate the same way. It's a belief system. Fear is an illusion of something that could happen, but you don't know if it will. Faith is this confidence that something will happen. So it's simply a belief system. So what the Ultimate Mindset Renewal helps people do, it helps them to go from fear into faith. And it's simply having confidence in yourself, having an awareness that there's something great inside of you that we can extrapolate. We can help you to see that you're amazing, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're creative. There's a genius inside of you, and you have to be able to see it, because we can tell you all day long how amazing you are, but until you and I believe it for ourselves, we're never going to take action. So what I find a lot of people, they ask me all the time, can you help me find my purpose? And I'll tell them, yeah, there's certain strategies, there's certain ways that we can help you define some of your purpose, but purpose changes over time. You accomplish one thing, that purpose might change. But what's better, in my opinion, is if you can have a greater sense of identity. So for instance, if I had a guitar here, and I know I'm talking a lot, I hope that's okay. Okay,
I love it.
If I had a guitar here in this moment, and I took that guitar and I said, hey, I'm going to be a rock star. And I took that guitar and I started slamming it on the ground, and I destroyed the guitar. Now, any musician that would listen to this, they would freak out. They're like, what? What's he talking about, a guitar, destroying the guitar? But so the question I would ask is, did I accomplish a purpose with that guitar? Some people would say no. The truth is, I accomplished a purpose by destroying the guitar. I might even got a reaction from a crowd if I was to do it. If you've ever seen a rock concert and they do that, the crowd explodes. But that's not what the guitar was created for. So when we identify the identity that it's a guitar, we know that its created purpose is to release some sound that we can engage and connect with and maybe touch us emotionally, cause us to have a memory of something of our past. It's something beautiful. That's its identity. And so I think we're the same way. So many people in life, they're trying to accomplish a purpose, but they don't know the essence, and they haven't embraced the essence of their identity. So if they can find out and be secure in who they are as a person and own that, own their personality, own their strengths, own their weaknesses, own their deficiencies, and say, hey, this is me, unapologetically, authentically, and from identity, then that purpose can flow. And then when we're in that, then the impact and the mark we make on society or humanity at large is so much greater. It's so much better.
Wow, I've learned
understanding and just like I said, owning your strengths and your weaknesses, and not trying to be something you're not. And I think maybe one of the first steps is just kind of getting rid of comparison. And because comparison, it robs us of our own identity, and it also robs us of being able to collaborate with other people, because we're always trying to compare. And usually what happens is we compare our weaknesses to somebody else's strengths, and we can never measure up. And so I think one of the easiest things to do in terms of thinking is just, even if you don't believe it, just begin to speak it. Because the more you begin to speak positive things, the more optimism comes out, the more that's attracted into your life. And the other thing is, all of us want to be autonomous, right? In a sense, we all want to be free. We all want to be aristocratic in our approach to life. We all want to be kings. But the truth is, most of us don't think like kings. We think like slaves. We think like servants. And so the thing is that we have to start renewing our mind by what we allow to penetrate our mind. So what are we watching? What are we reading? What kind of conversations are we having? Are we allowing our mind to grow, or are we allowing it to stay stagnant? I'm all for binge watching on Netflix. There's shows I absolutely love. But if that's all you do, that's all your mind is ever going to be, and you actually become that person. And so just a very simple strategy is I heard something the other day that said the average CEO reads 50 books a year. The average employee, 2. And I think 2 is kind of high. And so it tells you the difference in mindset, because the average CEO, the average leader in a corporation, they don't think, hey, I've learned everything, I know everything. Their mindset is, I still need to learn, I still need to grow so that I can take my company to the next level. The average employee, and I dare say the average individual, they don't think that way. They think in survival mode. Let me just get through today. But if you can change your mind and start thinking, okay, what do I want to accomplish in the next year? What do I want to accomplish in the next 5 years? What do I want to accomplish in the next 10 years? And how do I need to change my mindset about myself to accomplish that? I have the opportunity to stand on different stages, and I used to compare myself to what I would consider elite or eloquent speakers or communicators, the people who could engage an audience, like a Tony Robbins, like a Dean Graziosi, who are brilliant in the way they can connect and engage an audience. And I would listen and I would watch these people, and I would think, man, if I could just get on the stage and be like them, then people will listen to me. And then I realized that, no, those are their strengths, and that's who they are. And if I try to copy them, then people might hear the same words, but they're not going to get the authenticity. And so one of the things that you and I feel like we have to do, we just have to embrace and take ownership of our own authenticity. We have to allow ourselves to engage in conversations, take on things that are going to educate us and prepare, and be willing to allow our minds to be stretched, but don't allow any negative thing to determine your reality. So, well, like I said, when I received that report at 8 years old, obviously I didn't know what my future was going to hold. But thank God I had parents that had a faith and a belief that things could be better. But I always tell people, and I think that it was Sean Stevenson, who just passed away recently. One of his 10 keys of success was never come into an agreement with a diagnostic that doesn't empower you. And I believe that with all my heart. And so when we receive something negative, whether it's outside or whether it's internal, we have to just push that aside and say, that's not me. I don't agree with that. I don't accept that. I have a purpose, I have a destiny, I have a calling, if you will, I have a gifting, I have something to offer to humanity, and I'm going to rise above this situation. And if you can mentally ascend, then everything else will follow that, physically, emotionally, relationally, your businesses and things of that nature. I just did a coaching with a young doctor a few days ago, this past weekend. And all we did really with him, and the guy's brilliant, he's smarter than me. He makes me feel like an idiot just listening to him talk because he's so brilliant. High IQ, but he's struggling in certain areas of his life. And so all we did is we just sat down and systematically went through the different areas in his life, and come to find out that every issue that he was going through, it was a mental block. He didn't have confidence in himself, in his relationship, in his home, and with his wife. He didn't believe that he was sufficient enough to meet the needs for his wife. The thing is, this guy's amazing. He's a great guy. He's kind. He's gentle. He's servant-minded. He's supportive. He has all the tools and all the personality and all the characteristic traits to do great things, but he's limited in his own self-belief. And so we have to begin to reinforce every day, whether it's simply to say, hey, you know what? I am smart. I am creative. I am beautiful. I can accomplish great things. Just little things here and there. And it'll begin to trigger that in our mind. You know, you take people like a Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's doing a lot with the placebo effect and neuroplasticity, the stretching of the mind. It's brilliant how he talks about how when you allow different thoughts to enter into your brain, how it can actually change your physical conditioning just by simply having a confidence in that new idea or that new thought. Or you take somebody like a Dr. Amen, who is really like the America's psychiatrist, they call him, I believe, who believes that all health is related to your brain health. And the more healthy your brain and the more healthy your thought life is, the more healthy every area of your life is going to be. And so so my hope for people is let's try to get you to think right, and you're going to live right. If I could simplify it, it would be that statement. If you think right, you're going to live right.
Yeah, makes sense. And less like what you said, giving is the most important thing. I think that the happy thing that you feel in yourself, that when you give something and you help people give value, I think that's the happiness.
It really is. Just, I know you probably want to go here in just a second, but just to acknowledge you again, I think it's amazing what you're doing, because you're using your platform to create opportunities for other people, and you're giving them a voice, and some of those might not have a voice otherwise. And so it's amazing what you're doing, and I think it's beautiful. And I know that so many people are going to reach out to you and ask to be part of this. And I know this is just a beginning for you. And so I honor the beginning. I honor you for allowing me to be a small part of your journey in the beginning. And who knows where this is going to take us. And I know that your heart is to just serve and inspire other people around the world. And I just believe that you're going to have this incredible global influence of just being a voice to so many people and creating those platforms for other people to be able to expand their reach as well. So you're awesome.
Thank you so much. And then if some people wants to ask questions about this ultimate mind renewal, because I'm not I don't have much knowledge of this, and I have a lot of questions too. So how can we reach you out and connect with you or questions?
So right now we're actually working on the virtual, we would call it a mastermind, but it's really just going to be a live, probably a 3-hour event, to where I'm going to kind of dissect this whole process, give people actually the tools they need. So the thing that I love to do with people is I try to give them certain strategies, certain actual practicality things that they can do. But I also want to help them get to that place of fulfillment, because success without fulfillment, to me, that's the ultimate. I think Tony Robbins says that too. It's the ultimate failure. And so they can go to my website is verticalvip.com, and that's the consulting company I just recently created. There's nothing on the Mindset Renewal there yet. There will be very soon, where we're going to launch the actual virtual mindset. It'll probably be the last weekend or close to the last weekend of September. We'll have that on the website. If they have more questions, they can email me there. They can get me on Facebook here at Roddie Nelson, which is the live here, or Dr. Roddie Nelson, which is another Facebook page they can follow there. And all that information would be there as well. Or Instagram is at Roddie Nelson or at Doc Roddie, DOCRODDIE. And I'll keep everybody posted there. If anybody wants personal or individual coaching, business, entrepreneurial consulting, or even counseling, I have that PhD, and so we do counseling for people to help take their relationships to the next level, or just help them with facing the issues of life. We do that as well. We do that personal, or we do that through Skype or some other platform. So there you go. It's awesome.
All right, thank you so much, and I will put also all your information on this live, and we're gonna do your all your information because you guys reach to Dr. Roddie, and if you want a lot of questions, me because I don't know. I just bring him to this live so you know him, and if you have a problem in kind of mindset on how you can reach out to him and ask him a question and ask from him, and he's very willing to help you. And yes, you're so thank you so much, Dr. Roddie, and hope to see you someday, some other time here on my Facebook Live. And let me know when you launch your mindset renewal, so we can let the people know so they can connect and reach out to you.
I'll do it. And even if we don't get to do Facebook Live again, I hope to see you there in your country.
Oh yes, have you been to Japan?
Not yet, but soon.
All right, let me know, and let's meet up. All right, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for accepting my invitation. I know it's late there in your country, and thank you so much for accepting my invitation, and it's my pleasure. Thank you. Yes, have a great night.
Do the same.